This is Mark Gunn Media.
Hit it!
Hello and welcome once again to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. I'm Mark Gunn. The views expressed are those of the speaker and not reflective of anyone else. Today's episode, America at a Crossroads. No. Who am I kidding? We're where we've always been. America is starting to see something that her citizens of color have been warning you about for over 50 years now. And because she has always chosen to ignore us, her chickens are coming home to roost. Now, we've been telling you about the violence that can and has happened in our cities, from Watts, Crown Heights, Los Angeles, and most recently in Chicago. We've told you that one of the root causes of that violence would be a result of America never getting her racist house in order. Rogue police officers killing people without cause, and in most cases getting away with it. Homegrown terrorists killing in the name of Christ, all the while blaming Muslims. State governments going out of their way to roll back years of progress, all in the name of maintaining the white supremacist status quo. And don't get me started on the governor in Michigan, who deliberately poisons thousands of people with his state's water supply. Then you have our elections. It used to be that you'd have a couple of fringe candidates that would run. You know the ones. They're so far out in left field that even insane people know that the lights aren't completely on.
We've come to take our country back.
Obama is a radical communist. He's going to destroy this country.
Seems like over the last few years, more and more of the fringe was becoming mainstream, and Americans got dumber in the process.
Look back there in the press box. Heads are spinning. Media heads are spinning. This is going to be so much fun.
Well, in 2016, the dumbing down of America took a giant leap forward with this guy.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise.
No one took him seriously at first until he started winning primaries and caucuses, one right after the other. Then it became scary because while America, and more specifically, the Republican Party, continued to embrace her tradition of racial animus and xenophobia, a monster was being born. Oh, this monster already had the ingredients to be quite dangerous. Just take a look at how he treated his own employees of color back in the day.
Donald Trump is facing new allegations of racism after a former employee of his claims that he was forced to leave the hotel that he was working at because he was black when Donald Trump and his wife would visit. Now, this is according to an article published in The New Yorker by journalist Nick Baumgarten. And apparently he spoke to a man by the name of Kip Brown who worked at one of Donald Trump's casinos. According to Baumgarten, when Donald and Ivana came to the casino, the bosses would order all the black people off the floor. It was in the 80s. I was a teenager, but I remember it. And he also says they put us all in the back.
But as the GOP endorsed the racist fringes of their party through their silence, the monster grew bigger and stronger. While the GOP continued to obstruct and try to delegitimize the twice-elected Democrat president of the United States, it failed to keep its eye on their monster. And because of that, Donald J. Trump is poised to become the Republican nominee for the presidency of the United States. All of a sudden, the GOP wants to pay attention, and they're panicking in the back rooms of Congress while conspiring to rip the nomination from Trump's little fingers. Seems to me that if they'd put half as much energy into actually doing the people's business, they wouldn't be in the fix that they're in now. I can tell you now that short of assassinating him, nothing the U.S. government hasn't done before, Trump is going to be your nominee, rendering the Republican Party officially done, over, kaput, finished. Speaking of which, you are aware that more than 80% of congressional seats are up for grabs this election, right? Looks like a lot of house cleaning is in order. Mitch McConnell. Well, now that monster called Trump has been unleashed, and it can't be controlled, because now it's the racist, the knuckle-draggers, and political dullards of America that feed it every time he speaks at a rally. Every racist, sexist, xenophobic word that comes out of his mouth is consumed whole by his trumpeters. Donald Trump has survived on the ignorance of the American people, and now it's becoming even more dangerous. Trump says the country is being destroyed because of political correctness, and that we have to toughen up. To his knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing followers, that's the go-ahead to use the same racist and xenophobic language that he's used. It also seems to be a go-ahead to assault any protester that doesn't agree with Trump.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
But a few days ago, a supporter did just that to a protester at a rally in North Carolina.
Knocking the hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know He's not acting like an American.
So he deserved it?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
The guy hits the guy in front of the police, behind the police, on the side of the police. And they throw Rakim down, and they tell the guy to go sit back down. He finishes eating his popcorn. You know, and it's just, it's crazy that you get pretty much almost arrested because you got assaulted.
People are seeing this and still support him because, quote, he speaks his mind. Hell, I speak my mind. Why don't I run for president? Which brings us to Chicago and what appeared to be a chink in Trump's armor. You've seen the footage. A full-blown skirmish went down, forcing Trump to cancel the rally because of the violence.
Mr. Trump just arrived in Chicago and after meeting with law enforcement has determined that for the safety of all the tens of thousands of people that have gathered in and around the arena, tonight's rally will be postponed.
Then he had the nerve to say that his First Amendment rights were being violated. A dumbass. No one violated your right to keep spewing garbage out of your pie hole. You're just too much of a coward to deal with the consequences of your words. I said in the beginning of the podcast that America is at a crossroads, and I was wrong. America is where she's always been, wrestling with what she wants to be, that beacon of light where all men are truly created equal, and what she really is, a racist cesspool bending over backwards to maintain the white supremacist status quo. The way I see it, this election is a tale of two Americas, and depending on who gets the nomination in either party, will tell the rest of the world, once and for all, who America really is. People of color have been telling you this would happen for years. America would destroy itself from within. Are you ready to listen yet? Once again, you've been listening to Gunshots, straight from the hip. The views expressed are those of the speaker and not reflective of anyone else. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to send me an email to markgunmedia@gmail.com or leave your comments in the space provided below. Thank you for listening.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.